Good morning, guys. Welcome to another episode of Kasa Talk Show. Today we are going to do emacs 28 new features, and I'm going to explain, some particular features of emacs 28. Fantastic! emacs 28 is truly fantastic. I just installed it like 3 days ago, and tons of fantastic features. And I'm going to focus today on the icomplete. So icomplete, fido, ido, and smex. I'm going to talk about this category of emacs 28 features. So it's gonna be nothing but emacs. So if you have a emacs questions, ask me, okay? And don't forget to donate, like ching, put money in my pocket. And so let's begin. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, let's begin right away. So audio check, video check. I'm still alive, not dead yet. So let's what am I gonna do? Yeah, so yeah, stop this thing. And okay, emacs. Okay, so the emacs 28 is just fantastic. You download it. You can let's just talk about the features. Okay, let's not get distracted. Okay, so maybe later on I'll talk about where to download and stuff. It's all on my website, Kasa Lee Emacs. Just search for my name, Emacs. You'll see where to download, and for Mac, for Windows, and for Linux. Okay, so emacs 28, one of the great feature. emacs 28 has. I'm truly impressed. Okay, so let me show you. So you are looking at the emacs GNU Emacs news file. In every other application, when you have a new release, you have release notes, but it's a Emacs tradition because Emacs began it all, 40 years ago. They don't have release notes. Instead they say it's news, GNU Emacs news. So you are looking at the GNU Emacs news, so which is the release notes, for this emacs 28. And I was going through, I just installed it 3 days ago. And it's released actually just this month. It's just released, let's see, do they have a date here? No, they don't put a date. So hold on a second. Let me add the highlight the current line so we can see where my cursor is. And actually I can increase the cursor size. Never mind. So emacs 28, you are looking at the release notes, and I was going through it, and this is the best release. This is emacs 28 is the best feature-rich release in the past 10 years, I would say, just by impression, And one of the fantastic thing is that the release notes, what they say here, you can, go read it yourself. So how do you get to this page? You start Emacs, then press Ctrl-H-N, then you get this Emacs news. So you can read this page, and, there's just pages of them. And one of the great improvement is that now they are readable, I've been coding Emacs this for 10 plus years. I've been using Emacs for 20 years. But every time Emacs release, new feature, new Emacs release, I read the Emacs news release notes. Half of the items I don't understand, like incomprehensible. But now there's a big change. Now actually almost every item is like you can understand what they are talking about, so you can read it yourself. So anyway, so let's start to talk about the icomplete thing. So in emacs 28, they have overhauled the icomplete mod. Okay, so hold on a second. Let me go to PowerShell. PowerShell, you are looking at my PowerShell. And let's wait, what's going on? What? Toggle. Let's magnify it so you can see. Toggle dock theme. So now it's not dock theme, so it's easier to read. Okay, so I was saying that Yeah, emacs 28. So they did a complete change, upgrade, adding a lot of features to the icomplete mod. Okay, let me beginning from the let me explain from the beginning, so those of you are kind of new to Emacs, you can read it. Okay, so in Emacs you have completions. Okay, so for example, I want to call a command. Let's say, what command should I call? Let's say isearch. Okay, isearch is one of the most useful feature, which lets you, for example, I want to find the next occurrence of the word emacs in this file, in this buffer. So I press a key. I'm using software keys, so I can type. So you can see in the mini buffer emacs. So you can see that, and you can move to the next occurrence or move to the previous occurrence. So that command is called isearch. Okay. So for example, I can describe key. Okay, hold on a second. Let me show the pink window. The pink window shows all my command names. You can look up. So and keystrokes. So I want to call isearch. There's a shortcut, but you can also call it by metax. Metax, then isearch. Okay, let me show you. Let's see, describe key. Okay, let me just go quickly. So describe key, then I press the key in software keys to invoke isearch, which is this key, one single key press, B, on Vora keyboard. So you can see it calls the command isearch forward, and you have seen how that works. Press B, then type emacs. And you can. So that's isearch. Now, so let me try again. Now let's call the command. Okay. So this time I'm going to call metax. I'm gonna press metax. So in software keys, it's just one single key, A. Okay, so you can see. Let's see, cancel. Okay, so you can see I'm calling. You see there, execute extended command. That's a full name for the shortcut key metax, which is typically Alt X. Okay, on Windows, on Mac, on Linux. So anyway, so metax, so I'm gonna call metax, execute extended command. Now you see the mini buffer. Now that's new, okay? You see, I'm not using any fancy mod. I'm now actually not using any third-party packages. I'm purely using my own. Anything that's not developed here, I'm not using. I'm using only XR packages and the GNU Emacs mothership. So metax, you can see now in the mini buffer, you see, it suggests, first of all, you have this vertical display, and it suggests, it gives you all the command choices and also the key binding, the shortcut associated with those commands that has a key. So now I can type, isearch. So I type I, then it immediately narrows down. It narrows down to all commands that contains the letter I. You see, before it doesn't work like that. Before, when you have, you have to type whatever the command name begin with. So for example, this diff command, diff, you have to type D first. So you cannot type a letter that's in the middle of the command name. For example, some command, switch to buffer. Some long command name, you forgot what comes in before or comes after. You just remember there's a word buffer in it. So in that case, you can just type buff. So let's cancel. Let's do that. Okay, metax buff. You see, so all these commands contain the word buffer. And you don't. And also, so this is new. This is fantastic. Before Emacs 28. You also have that feature, but you have to download from third-party packages, such as Helm, such as Icicles, such as a bunch of others, and iDo is one of them, but iDo is included in Emacs. So anyway, so that is the fantastic feature. Okay, let's do it again. Metax, then ISE, okay? Then you can see a bunch of isearch, then I type A, So that's an example. So let's cancel. So this is fantastic. Okay, right. So if you are not using Emacs 28, then what you do is you install the external package. There are several, Helm, I don't use, but there's one I use. I highly recommend, which is smex. Okay, let me show you where it is. So key. That's a file. Let's go to the directory, search for smex. Okay, there. So let's hide, that one, smex. Okay, so you can download it on Mailpass. So if you are not using Emacs 28, this is the one I recommend. So what does smex do? It enhances your metax. So now you see in Emacs 28, metax is fantastic. But if you don't have Emacs 28, you install smex. Then you have similar. But in fact, Emacs 28 is better because it also includes keyboard shortcuts. You don't have that in smex. But now with Emacs 28, I highly recommend go install it now. Okay, with Emacs 28, you don't need smex anymore. So my last, the last external package I don't need anymore. I was planning to write my own smex at some time, but now I don't need to. So no more smex. Okay, that's so this feature, metax, where you have vertical display and flex matching. Okay, the technical name is flex matching. It's just fantastic. Okay, that's one thing. Okay, that's one thing we covered today. Questions, comments on what I'm talking about, post it. Okay, so smex is fantastic. I mean, the icomplete. Okay, icomplete, the Emacs 28 feature. Icomplete now has flex matching and also has vertical thing. Let's type buffer. Okay, let's see all the commands involving the name buffer. So you can move cursor to eval buffer, very useful. Save buffer, kill buffer, of course. Usually you do a key to call those commands. Next buffer, diff buffers. Okay, great suggestion. I rarely use that. Erase buffer, clone buffer. Oh, there's even a clone buffer. I never used that command. So great feature. Okay, so now let me go to the next thing. Let me tell you. Okay, so this is a demo of the feature. So this feature is called icomplete. Okay, technicality. So in Emacs, there's a command called icomplete mod. Okay, so technically it's a minor mod. So that when you turn this mod on, that's what allows you to have this kind of nice pop-up selection, and it's fast. Okay, it's very fast. Okay, so icomplete mod. But not just that, Emacs 28 also have a bunch of others. Okay, so let me show you where. Okay, so fido. Yeah, so let me show you. So it might be confusing to you, if you don't know. So I'm going to explain. So you have icomplete mod, and in Emacs 28, you also have something called fido mod. Okay, so what's the difference between these two? Actually, all these are part of the icomplete mod in the file. So let me show you. Okay, so metax. Wait. So now I do Control F, describe function. You see, so hold on a second. So let me show the pink window so you can see my command there. You see, so let's do it again. Describe function. So now you can type, let's see icomplete. Okay, so let's just say icomplete. You see there. Okay, then icom and mod. There it is. You see. Very nice. You see, you don't have to match the whole substring. So whatever you typed doesn't have to be a substring of the command. You can type part of a word here, part of that word here, as long as they are in the order, and you get the command you want. So icomplete mod. Okay, so describe function. Let's show the documentation of the icomplete mod. Okay, expand the window, magnify. So there it is. And you can, okay, that's too big. Okay, now it's good. Now you press tab to jump to the source code. You can, and then you can see the key binding and so on. So what's my point? So so anyway, icomplete mod, and so let's jump to the file. Okay, so let's jump to the source code of icomplete mod. So you can go to diet jump, and you can see here's the emacs list source code directory. So here's icomplete mod, and now let's list matching lines, and let's type define, enter. Then you can see all the functions defined in this file, and now you can see where is fido? What? icomplete. Wait, fido is here, but where is the fido function? Oh, it's not using define. Okay, so let's do it again. Let's search for fido. Okay, list matching lines fido. So you can see there, define minor mod. It's in the same file. You see, let's jump to it. You see, define minor mod, fido vertical mod. You see, and there is also fido mod. You see there, fido, define minor mod, fido mod. Let's jump to it right here. Then there's also fido vertical mod. But anyway, so you have icomplete mod and fido mod and icomplete vertical mod. Then you also have fido vertical mod. So all these are actually the kind of the same thing. They are in the icomplete package. They are considered the same. So how do they work? They actually just change some mini buffer configuration. That's how they work. They are actually not the engine or code. They are just changing some configurations of the mini buffer. So they are all kind of the same. So when you call each or any one of them, icomplete or fido mod or icomplete vertical mod or fido vertical mod, they all turn on icomplete mod. So you can consider them all just as variations of icomplete. Okay. I mean, this information is helpful when you started to put configurations in your emacs list, because you might thought, oh, what happens if I turn both ido mod and icomplete mod on? Maybe it'll give me some richer feature, combine. No, it's not like that. So you can pick any one of them. They just change some configuration. Okay, so icomplete mod. So what's the difference between icomplete mod and fido mod is that with icomplete mod which is the classic, you have to, whatever you type has to be a substring of the command and has to begin with the first character of the string. So you cannot, if you remember a command called something buffer and you just type buffer, it won't show, because you have to begin with whatever the letter the command begin. So icomplete mod, the classic way, is not useful. You want fido mod. So the fido mod is using flex match. Okay, like we demonstrated, like buffer. If I type buffer, then you got ibuffer, ebuffer, pp buffer. I don't know what that is. Then view buffer, then eval buffer, save buffer. You got a bunch. Revert buffer. Revert buffer is when you want to refresh the file from the disk. Maybe someone else changed it. Very useful too. And rename buffer. Oh, rename buffer. Okay, that's not too useful. HTML. So what is this smiley buffer? Look, we found smiley buffer. I have no idea what that is. Okay, so let's do Control H F. Let's see, smiley buffer. So what is that? Smiley buffer. Smiley buffer is an auto-loaded from blah blah blah. Run smiley region at the buffer. Okay, specifying argument. Okay, what that is? What is that? Let's go check smiley region. Okay, smiley region is auto-loaded. Blah blah blah. Replace in region smiley regular expression a list matches when corresponding images. A list of images is returned. I have no idea what that is, but it's interesting. It's, you know, we can jump to the source code of smiley thing, written by Dave Love from year 2000. Okay, I don't know what this package. Oh, okay. Basically, it does smileys. Okay. The precursor of Unicode, of emoji, you know, the Melangen's emoji. So this is hacker's emoji in the 1990s, precursor of the emoji smiley. So I suppose this package help you type smileys, something like that. Okay, so anyway, so back to, you know, well, so all these, you know, fido mod. So the main difference between icomplete and fido is that fido uses flex matching. Okay, that's good. Then you have, you know, you can go to my website and read all about it. You know, just like you know. So then you have icomplete vertical mod and fido vertical mod. They are just the vertical version. You know, for example, let's turn off the vertical. Let's say, so right now I'm using fido. Okay, let me show you the difference. Okay, so I'm going to call icomplete mod. Okay, do it. Now it says icomplete mod disabled. Okay, let's call it again because it toggles. Okay, now you see, now icomplete is disabled. Now I have, you know, now there's no suggestions. Shit, let's magnify. Let's see. You know, this, you know, so icomplete, there's no suggestions, so I have to press tab. Oh, and God, and icomplete, so I have to type O tab. Okay, tab. Okay, icomplete, then tab, then mod tab. Okay, finally. So this is what happens when you do not have icomplete on, or any of these on. So, okay, but now let's turn it on. So now it's on. Oh God, we got it wrong. We got a quote. Okay, let's do it again. Icomplete tab mod. Okay, icomplete mod enabled. Now let's try again. MetaX icomplete. Okay, it's vertical. Now it's doing the vertical version. We want to turn off the vertical version, so cancel. So icomplete vertical. What? Cancel. Icomplete. You see? Right now, we want to call this icomplete vertical mod command to turn it off, okay? But right now, I cannot type V. So if I type V, nothing shows up. Why? Because you are not using fido. It's not using flex match. So that's why fido is better than icomplete. Okay, so I have to, first of all, do a completion, then V completion, enter. Okay, that enter doesn't work even though it's the first choice. So now I have to type M. So now there's only one choice. Now I can enter. Okay, so now it says icomplete vertical disabled. So right now we are just in icomplete mod. Let's do it again. MetaX icomplete. You see? So this is what happens when you don't have the vertical mod version. Okay. Okay, so I think that's we covered that. Okay, so let's just go back to fido vertical. Okay, I want the fido mod. What? Yeah, fido vertical. So without fido, you have to always complete. You know, press tab to complete. I don't want that. Wait, cancel. It's enabled. Okay, now let's try again. Fantastic. Now we are back to fido vertical. So if you installed emacs 28, or just turn on fido. Okay, just this is the line you want. That's all you want. Okay. Now, but if you are using emacs 27 or before, then then so I have a code here. You can just copy paste to your Emacs. So if you are using Emacs 27, then you want to turn on icomplete, and you also want to set the icomplete separator to be a end of line character. So that's how you make it display vertical. So before Emacs 28, you have to do all this, manually, like configure it so it display vertically. But now it's you just call icomplete vertical, So anyway, before Emacs 28, you have to turn on icomplete mod. Then you also have to turn on ido. So let me explain what is ido. Ido is basically, flex matching, okay? But the thing is that ido only works for file names and buffer names, like when you switch buffer or when you open a new file. So fido is very useful. And you can also configure fido so let's magnify it. So that, for example, set, I do not fido, okay? So Emacs 28, you have to turn on ido mod. And what does ido mod do? It allows flex matching and for buffer switching commands and open file commands. So for matching file names. So, and you can also set it up so that it displays things vertically, So for example, here I do enable flex matching true, So the problem is ido mod, which is part of Emacs, it only works for buffer names and file names. So when you want to do metax, it doesn't work. It doesn't apply there. So that is why you also have to turn on icomplete. But however, icomplete in Emacs 27 doesn't support flex matching. So you have to press tab all the time, like tab completed part of it, then tab again, type something, tab again, complete again. So that's but now it's all solved, okay? Okay, so that's about that, okay? So let's see what else I need to explain, and maybe that's it for today, okay? Any questions, comments? So how long have I been talking? For 30 minutes. Sits on top of the native completion in Emacs 28. Yes. So it's awesome. Thank you. Money is what I need. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. So donate me or buy my Emacs tutorial. Okay. Buy my Patreon, Amazon gift card, or PayPal, or Bitcoin, or you can buy my complete Emacs tutorial, which I provided for you online. Okay, let me show you another thing, a recent addition to my website. Okay, so look at my Emacs tutorial. It's here. If you like it, support me, pay me. Okay. So there's a recent addition, which is a search feature. In my last video I did about 2 weeks ago, I was live coding a search engine, essentially, the primitive search engine. So now it's complete, So you can just, go to my Kasa website or kasali.info. Each part has a search engine. So let me show you, okay? So it supports lots of features. For example, let's suppose you want to, I have like a few hundred articles for my Emacs. So you want to know what is ido, because I have Emacs tutorial, Emacs init, Emacs keys, and Emacs keys, 100 articles, practical Emacs Lisp, then several videos, Emacs Lisp examples. You forgot where they are. Where is the page I talked about ido? So you click on search, then I do. There it is. Fantastic. Instantaneous result as you type. Now, you remember reading something about buffer. How do you set a buffer in Emacs? So, but you forgot where it is. So you type BUFFE. So immediate result. So you got a bunch of them. So ivmod, yeah. ivmod is another, completion, I think. I forgot. Third-party mod. So let's see. Okay, so wait. So yeah, anyway, so that's a search feature. Okay, you can also do minus. Let's see. Uncolor next previous buffer. Let's see. So some of them are let's see. So let's search for Lisp. Okay, you are into Lisp programming. So let's search for Lisp, and you have 200 articles. So, but suppose you have a minus feature. Let me try to find a good example. Okay, list. So let's say you want to find a list of all Emacs hooks. Okay, so you just type list, but however, you got 20 results because in Emacs Lisp, a list is one of the data type. So you got a bunch of results on Emacs Lisp, which is not what you want. You want a list of hooks. So you can type list minus minus, where's the minus key here? List minus Lisp. You see, you narrow down the result. So that's a feature. So you can see a list of Emacs hooks and list buffers. How do you list buffers and so on? Okay, so that's a new feature on my website, and it also works on XR keyboard. For example, let's go to XR keyboard. You are looking at my keyboard, Kinesis Advantage, Ultimate Hacking Keyboard. Okay, let me show you some keyboards I want to talk about. So search for XR keyboard, Google, and you arrived at my website. There is a search button just for this page. Let's turn on JavaScript so the video shows the the advertisement. Well, I mean the image, thumbnail screen, clickbait type of thumbnail screen. So anyway, here's my keyboard site. There's a search button. Then you can type, there are 800 articles there. So type mouse. So there are 100 articles about mouse. And let's say you want mouse and something Logitech. Okay, so type Logitech. So you narrow down to titles that contain both mouse and Logitech. Okay, now let's try if there's any article related to Emacs on keyboard. So Emacs, there it is. Okay, VI Emacs key binding design, history of Emacs and VI keys, Emacs plus keyboard geeking, the nth episode. Okay, whatever. Emacs meta key history. So that's the search feature using JavaScript, TypeScript. Fantastic. Okay, that's a feature I want to show you. Okay, let's go back to Emacs. So we explained icomplete, we explained fido, we explained smex, which is a replacement, the flex matching for metax, which now you don't need anymore. And we explained the whole icomplete set of commands we did, and we explained, let's magnify, we explained icomplete is for all commands. ido is just for files and buffers. That's right. So icomplete, for any command that requires a bunch of choices in the mini buffer, icomplete applies. Icomplete will make them, fido vertical mod, turn it on. So show configuration, I did that. Overview of history of icomplete and iswitch and ido and fido. Okay. Okay, so icomplete is pretty old. Let me show you guys. So let's do Control H F, describe function, and type icomplete. ICOMMO, okay, there it is. Then switch the cursor to the pen, tab, and enter to jump to the source code. Expand the pen, so we are in the source code of icomplete. Go to the top. Now you can see the history. It's good to look at the source code now and then. Gradually you'll learn more Emacs. This it's fun when you look around the Emacs community, the Emacs culture, or the Emacs code. The Emacs philosophy. So it's good sometimes to look at the source code. So gradually you'll pick up more how to or useful tips about Emacs. So you are looking at the icomplete source code. So in the beginning you can see it began in 1992, and it's written by this guy. In my past 20 years of using Emacs, especially in the last 15 years, I sometimes look up people. So you have to thank them. Most Emacs users, you don't know who wrote what. All you know is Richard Stallman. Okay, he hasn't been coding. He hasn't coded for 10 plus for 15 years, more likely 20 years. But so it's a good thing to know who are writing these great features. So icomplete began in 1992 and written by this guy. Then you can look up Kazaa lookup mod. You can pay me and get that package. So you can look up. Oh, so this guy is on Wikipedia. Is he? Oh, wow. I didn't know this. Sometimes I look up people, so you learn your community, what they did. So Ken Mannheimer has been a prominent software developer for Zope and GNU Mailman. Okay, that's Asian, software. That's 1999. Zope and GNU Mailman, who works for NIST and blah blah, and SpiderOak. Okay, he's been listed by Guido van Rossum, the creator of Guido, together with Barry Warsaw, as the probable inventor of the term benevolent dictator for life. That's a jargon from the hacker community. Benevolent dictator for life. So anyway, that's interesting. So and also you can sometimes go to their homepage. Okay, so he works for government. So anyway, that's interesting. So icomplete began in 1992. Of course, over the years, he essentially donated and signed over. You have to sign, give the rights to Free Software Foundation. Then over the years, Free Software Foundation, developed more of it. Like today, now it's massively expanded, starting in Emacs 28. Fantastic. So, and also let me tell you, how does it work? Okay. So this icomplete, and icomplete vertical and fido mod and fido vertical mod, actually they don't do much. I mean, the change in Emacs 28, all the great features, is actually not much in this file. All these minor mods, they are actually just changing the when you call fido mod, or when you call icomplete mod, or when you call fido vertical, they are actually just setting up changing some variables for the mini buffer configuration. So let me show you. Okay, so let's describe function. Let's say fido vertical. Okay, so let's go there and tab, jump to the code, so you can see the definition of the fido vertical mod. You see, now you look at it, it's only 4 lines. Only 4 lines. What you might think, what kind of magic? Oh, it must be a lot of code, to great feature, right? But it's only 4 lines, so it basically, so when you turn it on, it basically, all it does is just turn on fido mod. Okay, that's all it does. It just turns on fido mod. Then it turns on icomplete vertical mod. So that's why I say it's kind of confusing. You might think they are all different, but actually they are just icomplete. So it just all it does is turn on fido mod and turn on icomplete vertical mod. Then you might go look into what does fido mod do exactly. Okay, so let's okay, so let's go to fido mod, describe function fido mod. Let's jump to it. Let's jump to the source code. There it is, fido mod. Okay, it's only 5 lines, 7 lines. So what does it do? Well, it first of all turn off icomplete mod, then turn it back on, then set 2 hooks. That's it. It just set 2 hooks. Add hook, mini buffer setup hook, then call this function, icomplete mini buffer setup. Then another hook, icomplete fido mod setup. You see? So now, in order to trace how it works, now we have to look at these 2 functions, what exactly they do to make this rich feature. So for example, let's look up this function, icomplete fido mod setup. Okay. Do it. There it is. Let's jump to the code, the source code. Let's jump to the definition. There it is. Not many lines, 20 lines. So icomplete fido mod setup. So what does it do? So it, there it is. Change, set local, set q local, change one bunch of variables. It set the variable icomplete tidy shadow file names true, icomplete shadow matches on no input true, icomplete high common prefix nil, icomplete scroll something, icomplete completion style. This is important line. Okay, completion style, set it to flex. You see, so when you turn fido mod, this is the critical thing. It sets the variable completion style to flex. That's what makes fido different from icomplete. Okay, then other setup. You see, so this whole file, I went through this whole file. There's actually no like core machinery to do this completion. So the core machinery happens somewhere else, happens in those variables. They basically they happen in some other functions, which takes new variable values. Okay, so that's essentially I haven't looked into in details yet, but that's how things are. Okay, that's it. I think that's it for today. Anything else? Okay, so far so good. You guys like it? Any comments and questions? And that's it for today. Okay, video check, audio check, and okay, so let's shut down in 5 more minutes. Okay, we talked, shut down in 5 more minutes. Now I'm gonna wrap up. Let's see what else is interesting. So in emacs 28, fantastic. And let's go to XAR emacs mod. I mean XAR emacs distribution. XAR emacs, a complete emacs distribution with all my packages. Look. So these are all the packages I use. Nothing else. So for example, I can show you my emacs init. You see, now with emacs 28, you can show type version. You can see in the mini buffer emacs 28, or go to the message buffer emacs 28, right? So what I want to say, so let's go to bookmark. I have a command called XAR open bookmark fast. So you see, even in bookmark prompt, it also uses the fido completion feature. Fantastic. So now let's just type init. So let's go to my emacs init, just 2 lines. So the first line of my init is load XAR emacs. Okay, but if we jump to my emacs init directory, you can see, let's open alpa. There's nothing. So I have reached a point where I'm using no no external packages. Well, except actually there's one I still use, which is, well, one of them is the log, the command log you are looking at, the pink window, and the other one is HTMLize. Okay, but anyway, let's go to XAR emacs config. Okay, what? Okay, XAR emacs config and go to direct. So this is XAR emacs distro. Okay, so and go to the packages. This is all my packages. So that's what I use. Okay, so the other external package I use is this HTMLize, which allows me to syntax color programming source code, computer language source code in HTML. Okay, but I'm going to switch to JavaScript based solution because otherwise the source code in HTML is impossible to read. So anyway, so XAR emacs distro. Okay, so if you like my stuff, you go to my website, you can get it. You have to pay. It's all open source, of course. And so with Emacs 28, I did a lot changes. So right now they don't, they used to use idomod. Idomod is fantastic, but now you don't need it anymore. So you just rely on fido protocol. Fantastic. And also now the universal leader key for all my packages, CSS mod, diet, emacs list mod, XAR find, flag keys, XAR flag keys, and Golang mod, HTML mod, all the JavaScript mod, all these mod, now they universally support the same leader key, and that key has been changed to tab, which is fantastic. Because recently, I've been using this 60% keyboard. Let me put a plug to this keyboard, okay? So you go to normal. I did a review of this keyboard 2-3 weeks ago. They sent it to me for review. I gave you my honest review. So I've been using this keyboard when I'm lying in bed, which is right there. The keyboard is right there. So I've been using this 60% keyboard. One of the problem with 60% keyboard is that you don't have much keys, So I started to use tab as a leader key, which is fantastic, because a lot of people, especially when you are on a laptop, it's very common, like vast majority of people are using a laptop. And then on a laptop, you usually don't have function keys. I mean, the function keys is set to volume up, volume down, and so on. So the use of tab key as a leader key is a great idea. So now all my packages does that. And this keyboard, let me plug for them, is great. Okay, key move, not expensive. It's cheaper than Logitech, but it's fantastic. I enjoyed it very much. It's very high quality build. Okay, I like it. Okay, that's it. Bye, guys. So there's a question: what's the difference between setQ and setLocal? Okay, that's a bit technical. So setQ is just normal setting a variable. Okay, in summary, in short. Okay, now setLocal is to make a variable to be buffer local. Okay, so let me explain what does this mean. So in Emacs, you have variables. Variables, you can have a value, and normally, just like programming languages, a variable is global. Okay, but in Emacs, you have the concept of buffer local, meaning that the same variable name can have different value for each buffer. So every buffer, the same variable name they will have their own values. So it may be the same or may be different, So that's the buffer local variable. Okay. Now in Emacs, some variables are buffer local, but not all of them. Some variables are global. So sometimes you want to set a variable in a buffer just for that buffer only. But that variable is not a buffer local variable. That is when you want to use the setQLocal. So when you use setQLocal, it forces that variable to become buffer local to this buffer only. Okay, that's what that is. Why Emacs over Vim? Okay, that's a common question. I'm not gonna explain. Okay, exactly. So Luis explained that. Set local. Good. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Bye guys. What are your thoughts on tmux? My whole dev workflow is Vim and tmux. Okay, that's that's good for you. tmux, yeah. If you are a Vim user, then God, you need tmux. Without tmux, you become a cripple. If you are a Vim user, tmux, they have to go hand in hand. If you are a Vim user, you need tmux, and you also need the entire Unix tool shell bag, bash and find and xargs and you need that. Grep, sort, that's a Vim workflow. You kind of componentize, you need all these tools. But if you are using Emacs, typically you don't need tmux. You can if you want to, but you could log into remote computers without you needing tmux, tramp and so on, many different ways. And SSH within Emacs, I can do it now. Okay, so SSH, not SSH. So for example, okay, cancel term. Okay, so you start a terminal emulator. Okay, oh God, run program. Okay, it's because I'm on Windows, so it's telling me to run what kind of terminal application. Wait, cancel. I think term should be built in Emacs. Term mod there. Okay, term mod. Error menu bar update hook. I don't know what's going on. I haven't called that command. Close. Wait, not term mod, just term. Okay. It asks me which terminal program. Oh yeah, that, right. So actually it's built in on Windows. You see, let me show you the file path. Okay, so let's see. I don't know if you can see. So you can see it's actually part of Emacs 28 on Windows. This is critical because normally on Windows you are screwed. But now it's built in, so let's just run it. Let's see what happens. Error in menu bar update hook. Okay, that doesn't work. So anyway, term. So in Emacs, if you are an Emacs user, you have lots of ways. You don't need tmux. Okay, that's it for today. I'm just gonna read one more minute's comments, and that's it. Scarfy, great to see you. Pooh Justin, a mathematician from Canada. Okay. Moving Emacs covered. Okay, maybe that's too late. Oh, okay. Fantastic. So if you have bought my stuff, fantastic.